I did not do any extensive reading, but the reading I did do was mostly rooted in the beginning with the talks of Ramana Maharshi, which was sort of transcribed or recorded things from 35 to 39, collected talks. And on an absolute level, he would say, who is there to awaken and to what? Yeah. Yet he would speak about, or who is there to surrender and to what? But he would speak about surrender quite a lot because it was appropriate based on the situation. Yes. And he boiled down it. He may have said tons of contrary things, but one of the things it boiled down to was, if you want to get to the origin of the misery, self-inquiry. If that's too much for you, just admit you're outmatched. Yeah, surrender to something greater than yourself. Thy will be done. Yeah. So he basically said, there's no one in either camp, but there's two directions. And at certain times, they're more appropriate than at other times. Yeah. So like in recovery, a head that wants to say it's not a self is usually trying to get relief or get some kind of exemption from the idea of all the shit they did when they were self. Yeah. And it's really self trying to get out of self. Yet, so then in that case, tell the truth and then admit your inability, you're outmatched and stuff like that. That actually works better. Yeah. And then at other times, who is there to surrender and to what? Yeah. So, yeah. In 4 years, he ran into a lot of situations and people. Yeah. And remember the story. I don't know how true it is or not, but it's a story I've heard go around early on, or years and years ago, that, there was a group of people who had been listening to Ramana and hanging out with him, and they were talking amongst themselves about, can we teach? Yeah. And so lo and behold, who walks in? It's Ramana Maharshi. So then they ask Ramana, and he says, yeah, all of you can teach, but I don't recommend it. And so they were a little confused, and they asked him why, and he says, compassion. And then they're still confused, and they go, can you explain that? He says, yeah, you'll be in front of a group of people, and you'll feel compassion for them, and you'll dilute the message. Yeah. You haven't seen that? Of course. Now, I'm lucky as hell because if there's any urge to be of help, I have recovery where it's quite appropriate. Yeah. And then my sadistic, antisocial aspect, it's appropriate to be helpless in non-duality. You want to let people alone with their own devices so they see they're not their own devices. Yeah. Yeah. But then you can actually, try to present an understanding that may bring light to the inherent nature of what has defeated you, which it is foreign. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if there's no real place, then there's nothing that's foreign, obviously. But there's an assumption of a certain meaning given to this action figure world, and many people need help. And usually the best case scenario is to be confronted with the complete failure of what you relied on, and then a surrender there. Yeah. Admitting complete defeat is the greatest success, so to speak. Yeah. And then who knows, you may run into non-duality, and non-duality will take where you've been brought to and negate it lovingly so that you realize on having never left instead of constantly wanting to arrive. Yeah? Quite different, eh? It's basically the same point. From one view, it has to be an arrival because you cannot possibly be there. From the other point, it's the fact. Yeah? So one point greets you with on having never left. The other greets you with you failed again, do more. Yeah. And try to arrive. The problem with people arriving, they sometimes get a peak experience. They can't stay, it seems. Yeah. So they have this wish of stable. I want it to stabilize. If you set out a dinner table on one of those old motel massage beds and put a quarter in it, all the plates and shit are going to move around. Yeah. It's not that things cannot be stable, but they cannot be stable on an unstable basis. Yeah. We look at it differently. Instead of trying to stabilize something, we realize everything that's agitated and chaotic cannot possibly be what we are. Yeah. So the failure of stabilizing that which can't be stabilized becomes successful. Yeah. Because how can it succeed if you are not unstable in a sense? If what you are isn't chaotic, isn't unstable, isn't changing, isn't based on other conditions, then basically everything you do and think and try to get there and arrive there has to fail, yeah, to be successful. Yeah. So boom, yeah, there's a boom. So what happens with in this event? Things came to an end. A lot of things. Yeah. I stopped trying to get into the moment based on the reality I can't be out of a moment. Yeah. It was just like, and then that little insight into the mental logic sort of showed me the schematics of a failed system. Yeah. We just talked about it at the recovery meeting. The God of reason, the God of thinking. So shit's revealed. Yeah. And satsang, isn't it? Yeah. Have you really, did you have to reach far or no? And you can even repeat it. You can replay the video. Jesus, I was burping when he said that. I missed the whole fucking, no, go back to the video and won't be burping and you'll hear the same. Yeah. You're not missing anything. You're not missing everything. It's the looking that misses everything. It is. And I don't believe you can stop looking. Yeah. I don't. I believe you can see you're not that which thinks it's a great move to stop looking. I believe you can see that. Yeah. The big wall of water that would drown me when a certain level of revelation would occur, I thought it was me having to change something about me. Yeah. I don't see that anymore. Everything that's revealed is not me. Yeah. So that which thinks it has to become more peaceful, I am not. That which says it doesn't have to become more peaceful, I am not. Yeah. I don't know what the hell I am, and I've lost all interest in that. really, because I humbly believe what you're not can never find out what it is, because it wants to find out what it is. And you're already that. So that desire to want to find out what you are causes an imaginary schism, and then that desire is used to make what you're not, with the dream of finally becoming what it is, or getting what it is, or arriving at what it is. Yeah. And instead of, if you see that desire to get something and you don't look at that, and you look at that which represents that desire, you, to get something, and if you see that you're not that you, the desire loses its effect. Yes? You lose interest in it. You have no desire to get out of this moment. Why? I can't. Yeah, it's impossible. I remember I was young. When I was young, my sister, who was 3 years older than me, sat on me in this chair, like a soft chair. And for everything that I was worth, I wanted to get out of it. I couldn't. She was too heavy and too big. And I was just, I had to admit defeat. Yeah. And when I stopped struggling, I could slip out. But when I was trying to push her off, I couldn't get out. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if you believe the slogans that I feel are of non-duality, which is what's looking is what you're looking for. What would that promote? A more like surgical way of looking? No, would it? It would get, you would lose interest in the looking for. And that which represents the looking for is fucking out to lunch, if it's what's looking that you're looking for. Yeah. It moves right there. Now, I don't believe it's a culmination of things. I believe that you're going to hear it one way and it's going to open up a little thing. And then one is going to be like it's the same weight of all the other interesting statements. It's probably has the same brevity, but because the system has weakened, it breaks right through. Yeah. And then I humbly believe you're going to come to an end of a lot of things. You are. There won't be a planned debate on it a year later. There won't be checking in to see what condition your condition was in. It's not going to happen. It's going to be the end of that topic. It's going to be bang, over. Yeah. 30-something years, 20-something years, 20 seconds. Who cares? But that thing that would incite a little movement, either crude or subtle, actually comes to a halt. It stops. It's not idling, it actually stops. Yeah. Yeah. And you're convinced, or how, I don't know how else to say it. But that topic is still maybe on your bookshelf, but you never pull that book down. Yeah. You never think about reading it. It's done. So what would happen if all the avenues where attention and interest leak out get sort of stopped? Where's the interest and attention going to go? Maybe nowhere. And now maybe that elusive feeling of presence won't be so elusive anymore. Yeah. And the sense of presence won't be based on you doing something or not doing something to sense the presence. you have realized all there is presence on some vague or small platform, which is just going to expand because you've hit the money. Yes. So the interest and attention that was going into, do I have free will or don't I? Or going into, maybe I can still do something and I'll be there to experience my own absence. Or I can have it and it's going to stabilize. All that just dries up. Yeah. Interest and attention, exactly as it's always been, instead of having it all let out, now rests in itself. That's the abidance of truth. That's abidance. Abidance is stilled interest and attention, not constantly at the beck and call of the mental direction. Yeah. Not taking orders from the mental direction. Yeah. Not taking, it has realized it is not my owner. It is not my owner like a dog. A dog is going to not follow it when it realizes it's not its owner. Yeah. Happens. How are you going to describe it? I don't know. But when there was a lack of it, I was irritable, restless, and discontent. I was full of desires of how I could change how I felt, or how I could change and not feel what I think I was going to feel. Yeah. Constant agitation of managing and this and that. Then all this interest and attention that was actually lighting all that chaoticness up now gets sucked back in. And now the ratio has been sufficient enough that it has stabilized in this chaotic surface life of an action figure. Yeah. To a point, all the other compartmentalness and the partitioning of shit has very faded a lot, where all the individual paintings seem more like a mural, just an activity, an activity, an activity. And the screen that holds it and allows it to appear in is the living presence. And there seems to have been a move where I'm more interested in that than interested in all the other shit. I don't know how it happened, but I know it seems to have happened because the struggle to arrive somewhere has been dismissed. Yeah. And it looks like I was freed or liberated from the need to be liberated. Because that which was masquerading as me sure needed some fucking help. And it needed liberation. It needed like a chill pill. It needed a lot of shit. Yeah. I've been relieved of that need for liberation. I've been liberated from that. That's how it works for me. Yeah. Not for me, but here. And so we pass it on. I can't pass it on like someone else because that's not, the water of this life took its own course. So I'm sharing how I saw it. And I felt the most important aspect of it was the pointing of negation, not the chorusing of affirmation, but negating what you're not. Yeah. Not trying to affirm what you're not as what you are, but negating what you're not from what you are. That works. Yeah. I haven't seen it not work all these years. And my little seed assignment is planted in that soil. Yeah. So when I hear someone start talking about all I am is consciousness like that, I lose complete interest in it because I know where it ends, because I could see where it begins. Yeah. I've been down that road. I don't care. They have the bigger parades. They have a large enlistment. They can charge more and sell more, but it's just, I have lost interest in that approach. Yes. Yeah. And so I like the guy what was his name? woo way, the negative way. Mentally, I don't think you could take it any farther than he did. Yeah. As a way of describing negation. Yeah. It's very difficult to share his stuff because it's very thick. Yeah. So if you want to read them, check them out. But you can get an abbreviated version here.
All right. Here's his, actually, I'll put it over there. Have a safe trip.
Paul, on mute, buddy.
The safest trip is no trip at all. Yeah. Don't have to buy trip insurance. None of this shit. Oh, you may be surprised. No, you're not. Yeah. It may not be like the way you thought. That's for sure. Yeah. But you'll get a sense of true reliability. Really. I mean, every breath that's ever been taken has been taken in this presence. Yeah. The worst day, the best day. It didn't matter. Yeah. Bad or good, didn't matter. So if you find this working, ask who's it working for. And cut it at the knees. Yeah. 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 All right. Thank you. I wish you could hear what happens here. I got a little water running and a chime. But because I don't know how this system works, I can't change the programmed voice cancellation. Yeah? Can you imagine? It's like a beautiful woman singer singing Ave Maria, and this fucking program cancels I can't hear it. Yeah? Do you really want to live a life putting up with that shit? Yeah. All right. Michael.
We don't have any hands up at the moment, Paul.
That's okay. That's very nice. Let's say hello to some people. Mike Clark. Yes.
Hey, man. How are you?
Good.
I was listening. I want to thank you first because I was, for the last 10 minutes or so, you've been describing my experience. This whole, I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
What it feels like, first of all, it feels like when I stopped looking, something found me. That's, or showed up, let's just say.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, found me personally, but showed up. And in the course of that, the foreground and the background have sort of switched places a little bit. The things that used to be in the background are now more present, and the things that I was paying attention to, I just switched ends of the telescope. I was looking at things really close because I wanted to figure out more things. And I realized I was just looking through the wrong fucking end of the thing. And I turned it around and they're all in their perspective. They're all way out there. It's not like it's a big thing. That what used to be important, it doesn't seem to be all that big a deal anymore, and the stuff that, as you say, the things that you were just saying it a few minutes ago, that the things that we were so agitated about, I discovered I couldn't say, oh, I'm going to lose interest in that. That didn't happen. But when there's no alternative, something else shows up, when I just stopped looking,
Yes.
something else started to show up. And as you say, all the things that I did for years and years and years and years, doesn't have to be years and years, but all that stuff that seemed important for so long, things, to be able to just say, oh, well, I'm going to see what it's like without that. And it was actually better without that. I mean, which I expected it to be just disappear. But it didn't just disappear. It actually changed the experience. My experience changed to something better. I mean, something less localized for sure. That's what I'm feeling these days. Something that's not very localized. That's not like it used to be. So thanks for that description. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we can observe the loss of interest.
Yes, definitely. It definitely showed up. I noticed it.
Yeah. And a language we can understand is, what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So in a sense, our presence, those periods of it seeming absent, when you finally hear that it was never absent, is a very joyous sense of relief. Yeah.
Yeah, and freedom.
Yes, because you found that which was reliable and still is. By not by trying, by seeing what I was relying on to find the reliable wasn't reliable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And then didn't do the job. It was the wrong tool for the job, really.
Well, totally, because see, this is the thing. Still, a lot of people believed all this stuff is them, and then they get sort of bummed out when that part of them doesn't change, when they get a complete whack. It's not you. The spacesuit is not you. Yeah. It's not you. It, first of all, it can't get it because it's programmed. Yeah. Just as the Course in Miracles points out, the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. This you should know. Yeah. Pretty emphatic sentence, the second sentence. This you should know. Why? Because we're taking the brain's interpretation to be our interpretation. Yes? But we are not of the body. You want to say the experience is being in a body, but we are not of a body. But the interpretation of this whole event is of a body. Yeah? So when you see through that which seems so distant and unreachable, only was seen distant by you and was completely beyond reachable because you are it. Yeah. 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 So when you lose interest in the shenanigans change quite a lot. Yeah. Yes. So
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know how this is the only way I know how to speak of it. Yeah. It's just this way. Yeah. It's like you can change all the different notes that are that surround the theme, but you can't change the theme. The theme is there's a non-existent thing taken to be an existent thing. Yeah. And this isn't a far off scholastic study. It's right now. It's observable. The non-existent thing, the body, is taken to be what's existing. Yeah. Which is not a body. And somehow the head has made up a hybrid that the body has this incredible attribute of being a subject when the body is an object. Yes. So this is why non-duality says not two, because this right now represents the manufactured two-ness that's seen as one because it's seen as a singular body, but it's made up of two whole different movements, which is subject object. Yeah. And so non-duality is the negation of that. That's it. Why is that all it's needed? Because you are what you're looking for. So all you got to do is stop fucking looking, or see you're not the one that's looking, and there's no need to look for what you are. You are what you're looking for. Yeah. Yeah. So all the distance, like you know, remember Zen? They would say, you know, a movement of one eyelash or eyelid is 10,000 years. Yes. They would play around this idea that distance is manufactured and made up because we've never left what we are. Yet so many people believe they're in that fucking, atoll or some other fucking distant place. Then they're going to have to do this exotic travel to arrive. Yeah. But that's all coming from the travel agent of the head. Trying to book you accommodations. You're definitely going to need a car. This and that. Jesus Christ. And when it fails, does it ever admit? No, it doesn't. It may blame you, but that's not really admitting. Yeah. And then you just switch teachers. You
The thing that
Yana to Mahayana, to fucking Orthodox Jew to something else Jew, to Opus Dei Catholic to Catholic. It's just like
I've had several people ask me, because I tell somebody sometimes that I'm doing some satsang, not religiously, but often just because I want to be there, and they're asking, well, who's that with? And I'm telling them, and they're like, I don't understand a word he says. And I said, I don't think that's a problem. In fact, I think you could be Dutch or something, or the listener could be Dutch, because at least you don't get hung up on the words.
yes.
If you don't understand the language that you're speaking, if somebody's from Mozambique and they listen to Paul Hedderman, it might be just the best thing for them because they don't have to figure out what the fuck it is you're saying. They don't have to spend any time on that at all. They just get the message. I don't know if that's. I just thought about that this morning. I thought, I wonder if that would be feasible, to listen to.
I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have a translation into gobbledygook, and then may get it easier.
Exactly.
It's so weird because when I'm sitting here, I think it makes complete sense. I don't understand.
I know. When I hear you say, "Don't you see it?" I'm like, yeah, actually, I think I do occasionally.
I'm really that far out of it? Wow.
No, I don't think.
I got to look into asylums then.
I don't think anybody else is saying the truth is the truth.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
But I think probably this idea that what you said earlier about the compassion,
Yeah.
and about the taking no prisoners aspect of it. I think that's I don't know any that. I would say I wouldn't have responded to anything else, because as long as there's a crack for me to step in there and think I'm getting some help and myself is improving, it's death. It's the death knell. So better to.
I'm lucky I didn't hear Paul Hedderman before.
Could be.
Thank God I didn't tune into his YouTube early. Fuck. Well, whatever.
No, that's good.
I know.
If it's good enough for not Nisargadatta, but Ramana Maharshi, if the least little bit of compassion, is the end of the lesson. That's I like that idea. I love that idea.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate all of you showing great temperance towards me, putting up with my mental shenanigans. Isn't that really? Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's best not to talk, because then you may end up in an insane asylum. It's interesting.
That's how Ramana Maharshi started, wasn't it? He just didn't talk. He thought he was going to be able to communicate with people mentally, and that didn't work out so well. But
I know.
so he
Yeah.
had to start talking, say something.
I think those may be my peeps, though, is in the asylum. Yeah. Maybe I'll finally be understood there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, no. We'll talk about what Jello we had and everything.
Exactly. Exactly. Who won at cards today? Whatever their name is. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for anyone else like to share?
I may be joining you there because you're making perfect sense to me.
There you go, bro. Yes, you should get a checkup for sure. Go
Anyway,
immediately.
annoying, I just shut it off. So.
Go to Google. It'll tell you what you're suffering from.
I'll let you know.
All right. Thank you. Yes. How about anyone else? How about there's Esther is here. Nice to see you, Esther. Alan Olson, Geo, Tom M, Ben, Chris P. Finally, I think the Zoom is taking the evolutionary path of the live meetings, where at the end, before the pandemic, we were speaking like 20 minutes, maybe. They were becoming very short little meetings and off to coffee and desserts. So I think it's happening now. It's pretty good. Anyone else? So there's Saraswati. She's going to be my voiceover. Maybe I'll be understood if it comes through Saraswati's voice. Hey.
I have a question or an inquiry or something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know, I love 12 step. It's the only thing that ever turned the needle for me. And I've came out of a month of illness and stuff. And basically the punchline is I'm really aware that I am not qualified to run my food plan, that I'm powerless over, you know, the person that puts food in my mouth, and you know, I don't have permission, you know, to behave, you know, to go out, you know, because I know I'm not qualified. And I guess I'm just in that step one. I've done the steps and everything on that, but it's just like, wow, who do I hand it over to? And I guess, you know, I guess I have a food plan. I have to in the larger conversation of like, how many things am I in, I guess, quotes, not qualified to manage, and what am I qualified to manage?
Yeah, well,
It's not food right now.
if that's the case, then seek the help and ask someone to help you manage what's unmanageable for you. Yeah, because it may not be unmanageable for
That's
them.
true.
Yeah. And then come if you like. We have the recovery meetings Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30. This has more of a different type of topic today, but we have 10:30 Pacific time every Tuesday and Thursday. And there'll be people there that may in the chat get in touch with you. Yeah. And share what they
I have on a Zoom. I have a meeting every day 11, but I could hop on for the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, check it out and then just put out what you were just saying now on the chat and people will respond to you. Yeah, they'll get in touch with you if you leave them your number and stuff. Yeah.
David, you're raising your hand. Did you want to say something?
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Good.
So whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving.
Yes.
I understand that to be okay. So if there's only perceiving, then no one else can be perceiving, because that would mean that someone else exists apart from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the only way you would know what's perceiving is you saw it as a perceived. So the mental logic, it believes it can only see that which is perceiving as a perceived. Yeah. So that logic is program. It's not AI. This is why when you're confronted with its fundamental failure, it's going to lead you somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, that which is interpreting this life sees you as a body. So that which is perceiving is seen as the perceived. Yes? Good luck trying to change that. Just let the truth hit you that that which you're listening to completely believes that which is the perceived is what's perceiving. Yeah. And then some obscure 12th century Zen master said the exact opposite with a sudden flash of illumination. Whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. There you go. If you
Yeah.
want to be led to the failure of the system, these things have a good ability to do just that. Yeah. Because if you go in your head right now, even after hearing this, your head believes what has perceived this message is a thing, you. Yeah. It doesn't get it, but you get it. So you must not be it because it doesn't get it, yet something gets it. And I would say that something or nothing is more you than the you that doesn't get it. Yeah. This is the negation. You see the you doesn't get it, and hopefully you realize you're not that you. So its ownership and subjectiveness that's being claimed is negated by the true subjectivity, us. Yes? Who's going to take over the house from a squatter? Another squatter? Let's hope it's the owner of the house.
Oh, I'll go back later and play this over about 10
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. And I hope no matter how many times you play it over, the certainty that it was delivered should still shine through. Now, I may be totally insane, but I have a great certainty. I do. And I hope that gets through 30 times, one time. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Even if they dragged me to the asylum, I'd have great certainty that they're the ones who are insane. Yeah. Certainty is contagious. It's not owned by any of us, but it can infect all of us. Yeah. And satsang sits with a certainty that's not chaotic and unstable. It becomes familiar. Every time you come to the meeting, there's a certain sense that's the same. Yes, there you go. That certainty is the underlying message of everything else. Yeah. Play it 80 times, one time. There's something that hears it. And it's not you, thank God. And this is why I take it as a badge of honor that the person, the thing, does not understand a word I'm saying, because then I have done a masterful job of avoiding the huge obstacle of you. Hallelujah. And if you ask people here that have been with us for a while, there's some, it's like a wine, it ripens, yeah, over the years. Yes. I may start getting Christmas cards from you after 5 years of satsang. And you'll be in the same condition. I don't understand the word this guy's saying, but something has worked. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really more scared if you're understanding what people are saying, because that means they're saying the same shit the way you say it. And I hope we're over that. The same old, same old. Fuck.
I got a rare glimpse of it the other day. I was thinking, I can't describe it, but there was it's so fast and so subtle. I see what you mean about it not being a call to arms.
Yes.
I'm scared to death in one sense, but I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about my head exploding. I
No.
learned that.
No. But you will have loss of interest in the head, which is nice. Yeah. It's worry isn't exploding. It's draining the air that's in it. It's like a balloon. Yeah. Yeah. It's really afraid to be deflated. Loss
Thank
of
you.
interest. Yeah. Yeah. uh, it likes to see its death would be a glorious bonfire. It'll die from loss of interest. That's like Saint Francis says, it's in self-forgetting that you're reborn. Yes. That's the death of the self. There's no thing to kill. You kill it with irrelevance. Yeah. It lives on meaning and meaning alone. Yeah. When you starve it of the meaning it so much desires, yeah, yeah, you'll see its naked underbelly. You will. You will. It's not of you, it's foreign. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of things you believe you did, you didn't. Yeah. Something has been living through us. We're just the gateway into this event. Yeah. A lot of things are walking through this door. The door has a weird programming that only it can walk through its door. But no, tons of shit comes through. Yeah. Some days you're taken over by greed. Are you greedy? No. Sometimes anger. Are you angry? No. Sometimes you hurt someone's feelings. Are you a hurter of people's feelings? No. Sometimes uninhibited joy and bliss rings out. Are you the one who has that? No. Yeah. I would really bet on the horse that's pushing the cart more than fucking changing the upholstery of the cart all day. I would really fucking put your money on the horse that's pulling the cart. Yeah. The cart doesn't go anywhere without the horse. Yeah. It doesn't. A non-existent thing looked like my Uncle Fred in the casket. That's exactly what a non-existent thing looks like. Dead. What you got was not Uncle Fred's presence, you got the absence of existence in a way. Not that it was absent, but it was absent as Uncle Fred. And all of Uncle Fred came with the alignment of existence. Without existence, there was no Uncle Fred. There was none of Uncle Fred in a split second. Even though his eyes, if put in a live body, would facilitate vision, he wasn't seeing, there was no seeing through those eyes anymore. Yeah. Yeah. A vast wealth of knowledge can happen in a fucking half a second. Yeah. It's not, doesn't have to be a giant, like, oh, there's 50 gigabytes of download. It can be a flash. That's all that's necessary. Nothing's necessary, literally. Yeah. All right. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Come back and keep not understanding. It's working great. Alan Olson will tell you. I haven't seen him smile. He smiles all the fucking time. And he doesn't understand shit. It's great. He's realized the true value. There's Kathleen. She's not here today. She started as something something confused, and then it's just happy. She's so yeah. uh, yeah. uh, yeah. Have some fun together anyway. Wasn't that fun, Alan, in Sicily? With the complete opposite of what you think a retreat would look like. Sharing with 2,000 European visitors lunch.
Yeah.
It was insane, but it was funny. It was good. It was so, yeah. Yeah.
Glad you
so-
verified that it's okay. Again,
Yes,
for me not to understand.
totally. Hey, that's how it's working with you, bro. Yeah. Great. I understand only to pass it on. During the day, I'm not, don't walk around with a notebook writing cryptic things. I fucking just, you know, I'm just, you have what is needed, and then the other shit is optional, literally. Yeah. Yeah. So is Paul like this all the time? No, Paul is never like this, period. Paul has never shown up to any talk, ever. Yeah. Paul is sitting in a chaise lounge wondering why it's looking at this fucking Zoom with all these squares. It realized years ago it's not getting shit, and it's just sort of dazed and confused because it usually thought it had to have a reason to do something, and it can't find a fucking reason why this is happening. But here it is. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you. I think I'm going to start saying goodbye. My clock. Yeah. Eric Platt. There he is. Yes.
Thanks for mentioning about that sense of certainty. You can't really put a finger on it, but I've noticed that. I mean, not just from this meeting, but you can't really put it into words, but it's like behind things.
Yes. Like the screen is behind the movie, so to speak. Yes.
Yeah.
The movie could be displaying incredible uncertainty, but it's displaying it on a screen of certainty. Yeah.
It's like something solid, but it's not solid in the usual sense. It's like
No,
the floor.
we were presented the exact opposite. Before, we've been trying to have certainty about the outside, being completely uncertain in the inside. Yes.
Right.
We
Exactly.
want stability where there is no possibility of stability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good show.
Yeah. All right. David Lowe, nice to see you, bro. And every week you should change. It should be David Lowe and then David High, then David Lowe and David High. And you're neither of them. Uh-huh. Mike G. Nice to see you, San Clemente.
Good to see you, man.
We've got our friend from Finland. Nice to see you, Mika. I never know how to say his name, so I just fumble it a little bit. Mika. Florida, John. Nice to see you. Oh, Miak overlooking the water I was in today. Yes. Yes. James Olson. I don't know why, but it seems to be he's right above Alan Olson's square. I hope that's not the hierarchy of the Olson family. Saraswati, my voiceover. It'll be so much nicer to hear my words said by Saraswati. I may finally get the message. Shit. I'll have to figure out how to do that.
Body of which it is a part. This you should know.
Yes, that's right. Diona, nice name, Diona. Marl in California. Michael Stacy in Madeira. Esther, somewhere near Philadelphia, I can imagine. Zoe Banks, I don't know where she is. It smells like sushi, but it looks like Arkansas.
It's Arkansas.
Ah, it's Arkansas. Lynn D. Nice to see you, Lynn. Thank you. Now you got the constellations up. I like that. Yes.
Hello.
We vented outer space, inner space. Nick, NIC or NIS. And then we have Geo. Next to that, Tom M, Ben, Chris P, Fletch. I think Fletch is in Germany. He went bhakti on us. He's got absorbed into devotion. Whatever works. Yeah. Let's see. We've got, I think I have everyone. Hey, thank you so much for today. Okay, thank you. I'll see everyone soon.
Take
I
care.
hope-
Thank you, dude. Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, whoever's around